Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk about prepping with an unlimited budget. Now, what brought this on is I was listening to, I was flipping the channels on talk radio, and they were talking about a story from the UK Guardian. And in the Guardian, they had a futurist, one of these guys who plans what's going on.
Yeah.
Like someone like Ray Kurzweil, something along that line. And basically, a bunch of, I guess it was hedge fund owners, called them out and were like, hey, we want to talk to you. We're worried about the end of the world. When they call it the event.
Okay.
This is what they call it. And they don't really care what brings it on.
Mm-hmm. But
they just know the event is going to happen. And they weren't like if, maybe. They were like when the event happens. Now, it seemed like the recurring theme that they were going for was they felt that global warming was going to, cause water to shift and you wouldn't be able to grow crops and different things like this. And he thought there'd be like mass migration of people moving, out of inhabitable areas and into other areas. They wanted to know if they should go to Alaska. Would that maybe be the go-to? Mm-hmm. And they got into some really pretty crazy ideas. And this guy's like talking about he was totally blindsided by it.
Right.
He was like, I thought I was going to talk to him about AI and, stuff like that. And instead they just wanted to know, like, where do you think the best place to live is like going to be? Mm. And if I hired a security force, because I know I'm going to need one, where would we end up? How would I be able to control them?
Right.
The guy, they actually
right, because money's not going to be worth anything at that point.
And that's exactly what they said. How would I pay him? And they said, I have all the money and the supplies or whatever, but what am I going to do? Put like a kill collar on them and talk about, if I had a remote control and we could work out some kind of thing where I press a button and they die. Mm-hmm. I don't know what security guys are going to be like.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of SEALs and Special Forces guys that are retired that want to have a kill collar around their neck.
They're like, this will work because I'm not capable of surviving the apocalypse.
Yeah, the apocalypse. They can't. Yeah,
right. I'm not capable of surviving the apocalypse. Die. I'm a Navy SEAL, but if I kiss your ass, that doesn't sound right. Mm-mm. So, anyway, this is my first beer when I can't say apocalypse. Mm-hmm. So, we're in for a long night.
Yeah. Well, I was actually, if you're done with that,
the gist of it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking over that. Like, what do you do when you're the guy that doesn't have any skills but all the money? So, you're going to have to hire people anyway. I wouldn't go with the kill collar.
No?
I would not even go with Special Forces guys. I would go for seclusion and then have personnel that have firearms training, but things that are like guys that are like electricians and plumbers.
I have some notes. I have a theory of who I'd like.
Maintenance guys.
Let's start out there. So who would be in your team? How many people and what are their skills or what would you be looking for people-wise? Let's focus on that.
Well, first off, if you're going to have people in the apocalypse, you're going to have their families also.
Okay.
Because nobody's going to leave their
There are
their wife.
single people. Right. You're not pulling,
Nobody's going to leave their kids.
I'm in 100% agreement with you on nobody's going to leave their family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say you might be able to find a couple that are both bringing something. The wife's
Right.
a nurse, the wife's a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
the husband is Navy
But
SEAL,
if you-
whatever.
Well, what I'm saying is if you provide a safe place for people's kids,
Yeah,
then
I
they
don't even
already
want people with
give
kids.
you-
Kids are a pain in the ass.
oh man, well, yeah, that's true. That's true, but how are you going to continue on society after everything collapses and you can
They
take
did
over?
seem to have some concerns about that,
Right.
about how their
Mhm.
legacy would go on. So
Right.
maybe they want some kids. I don't know. Maybe
You know
that's what they're into. I don't know.
the sultans, the Saudi princes
Yes.
and those guys, they all have like harems, where they have girls
Mm.
come from like Las Vegas and different places, and they'll live there for like a year or two.
I saw that in the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I mean, maybe you want to have like a couple of those girls that survive the apocalypse and just like to hang out naked. I don't know. Did you watch
Feed
that?
you grapes.
Did you watch that documentary about the guy that did the what was that security company? The software
Yeah,
giant.
I know who you mean. McAfee
McAfee. Yeah.
down in Chile or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch that documentary and you'll see how crazy these people can get when they have no limits.
No limits.
But all I'm saying is you're gonna want to have a group of people that don't want to leave.
Okay.
They want to stay.
I agree. I actually came to the same conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Basically survival when, whether you're talking unlimited budget or not, you're going to need a team for survival.
Right.
You're not going to make it with just you. You're not going to make it with just your family. You're going to have to incorporate other people. And I don't even know that, you need the huge skill set, although obviously that's going to be optimum.
Right.
And we'll talk about what people. But you definitely need people who need each other to, and if you're the guy who can bring money and resources to the table,
Mm-hmm.
that's your skill.
Right.
I hate to say it. That's what you're
That's what you
bringing
do.
to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that get you maybe more of a vote than the guy who's like, yeah, I really know how to use an AR-15 like nobody's business? It
And I'm a
might.
trained
Maybe it should.
and I'm a trained medic and I'm an
Because
electrical
I gotta
engineer.
say, there's a lot more doctors out there than there are guys with $1 billion.
Right.
So it does buy you more, but you're still part of a team.
Right.
And you're basically going to need to kind of build up a relationship with people that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's going to be really hard to set yourself up as a king in this situation.
yeah,
If you
you're not going to be king, and that's I think where their mindset was coming from.
Right.
When you read the article and what they're talking about, it kind of seems that way. That's the way they're heading. Is like, well, I want to just live my lifestyle exactly the way it is, and everybody else to
And
handle
listen,
it.
if you can hook up the movie theater with the surround sound, maybe it's worth keeping you around.
Sopranos, whatever.
Yeah.
You watch.
The apocalypse is a long time.
Maybe you haven't-
once it all goes down, you got a while.
You haven't made it through Breaking Bad yet. Maybe that's your thing. I actually have TV shows that I'm saving for when I'm old, so I have something to do.
Have you seen Breaking Bad? Did you watch
Yeah, I
all of it?
watched Breaking Bad, so I just did it.
Super good. That finale? Best finale of any TV series
Yeah,
ever.
You'd rig up something like that.
Yeah, definitely. But so all right, so who
All right,
is
well,
it
let me-
that you would have?
Yeah, so I wouldn't want it to be too big. I'm not looking to build a whole world. Now, a lot of the prepper guys I've seen, are like, oh, you're going to need 15 or 20 people to be able to run everything. I think that gets... Now, if you have unlimited money, you don't need to be spending your time gardening. You can set up your resources so that you have assistance with your security via cameras, radios, things like that, which might not be available to the unprepared person.
Right.
And your unlimited budget basically makes you able to be prepared. Now, if you're the billionaire status, you basically, all right, so the people that I would think about, and this is why I'm saying the smaller numbers, because I know some guys might be yelling at me, well, our community, in order to farm and whatever, we're going to need, and I understand that, but we're talking about money, where we can buy things, and we can, things can replace people. I hate to say it, if you don't have to worry about getting water, don't have to worry about gardening, whatever, things change. You need different bodies for that. So anyway, that said, I think you're looking at a minimum. I would do 5. Now, this is my thing. I understand where you're coming from of multitasking kind of people and whatever. Everybody's going to have to know how to shoot a gun. Right. Hands down. I mean, you're going to basically...
But, that's something that you can teach.
You can teach anybody, definitely. Right. My thought was everybody has to do a minimum 2-week training with firearms. And I mean 2-week full-time.
Yeah, and that seems like a legitimate training.
Then you could do even...
You can point and fire.
Then you decide what's important to you, what your risk level is. If you think it's imminent, I want them going shooting at least 2 hours a month, after their 2-week training. If it's something you think, a long shot, then maybe you want them to qualify once a year or something. Go out and practice a little bit, whatever. So basically, I'm looking for like 5 security guys. I think that's your minimum.
All right.
And these are above average fighters.
Right.
At least war veteran kind of, and I'm not saying that has to be their qualification.
Right.
I'm saying that has
like
to be
a minimum
their skill level.
Right.
If it's, he's never been in the military, but he was on the SWAT team. Okay.
Yeah.
That's equal, in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He doesn't have to be a Navy SEAL or Ranger or whatever, but he's got to know. And even if he has private training, that's no law enforcement, no military, I'm okay with that. But he's got to have the standard shooting skills and awareness. All right. I'm looking for 2 people who have medical training. EMT or higher is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Ideally, one is a doctor and one is whatever. But
when it comes to that, I was reading a book about zombie attack, and one of the things that they pointed out that I never thought of were veterinarians, because you get a doctor and he's a surgeon or he's a pediatrician or he's an oncologist, right? But a veterinarian is used to giving medication and doing surgery on like a Chihuahua's knee, and doing. You have a big cross.
I like where you're coming from that, and I think that's definitely got a lot of credibility to it. I also think if somebody's taking this seriously, there are some amazing books out there that I have that are specific for the survival kind of stuff. I'll put them in the show notes. I can't think of whatever it is right now. I've definitely plugged it in our last medical episode. Also, there was that emergency war surgery book. It was like a NATO handbook. That one also talked about, field improvising kind of thing. And a lot of things that a normal doctor wouldn't see, anymore. Right. But bottom line, I mean, basically, when you're like, oh, I'm the medic for, a survival group, you're going to need to start taking on some extra, training. Right. And doing the research. But I'm 100% with you. A veterinarian is the go-to on a lot of that all-around kind of guy. And that's, sometimes EMTs are more capable of handling what's going to come up. I will say, I know this was, I'm just going to get into trouble, but I'm just saying buying those antibiotics online may come in handy in real life.
Yeah.
That could come, and it's even possible to sometimes convince the significant other that, hey, this is the right thing. And another tool at our resources. I'm just saying that might be a thing.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So, all right. So I have 5 security guys, 2 medics, a gardener. Again, I don't really see gardening as a big thing, but I want somebody who knows.
Right. Well, when it comes to fresh produce and things like that, canned green beans. It makes a difference. I've eaten canned green beans for extended lengths. It's not something you want to do.
No, exactly. And I want an engineer. And by that, I just mean you're fix-it guy.
Right.
And actually, I don't want like a college, whatever engineer, although that guy might be the Mr. Fix-It handy guy who does have the degree.
Right.
Some guys are just
Well,
genius and can put together
basic
anything.
plumbing skills, basic electrical
But that's what I mean.
skills.
You're a guy who can fix everything.
Right.
Keep your vehicles running and, keep things going. Like I said, everybody needs some kind of training. Now, then, basically, now's where we kind of get into the what would you do with all your money? Like, why is it different for these guys prepping than our standard prepping? What are some of the things that this guy, now that we've kind of assembled a team, what do we want to do? Now, a lot of them talk about, like, they're afraid of, they're in Silicon Valley or whatever, and the floods and earthquakes, or, in the news all the time, the fires are coming. And, there's people, you might actually have to plan for a bug out.
Right.
Having an off-site location, like you mentioned earlier, like you touched on, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but I think you need to be prepared for both eventualities. That you may have to bug out to your faraway location, and you may have to tough it out where you are. I don't think you can count on, I can go 4 hours away, 3 hours away, whatever.
Right. I got 2 words. Helicopter.
I thought about helicopter. No, actually, that was one of the things in a lot of the articles. They were like, I have a helicopter. I hope so. I hope that's going to work, but I'm not sure that's going to work.
That was one of the things.
You will have to have your new location pre-staged.
Right. Right. It's going to have to be ready to go.
You can't plan on equipment coming in your helicopter.
Right.
But, and maybe the helicopter to get you home from work.
Yep.
Is the thing to do. Yeah, I don't know if you're over at Google and you have the helipad. I don't know.
Yeah. What was that guy's name from The Wolf of Wall Street? That movie. He was he was practicing flying a helicopter from Manhattan to his house in the Hamptons, and he was always crashing it because he was always drunk in the movie,
cocaine,
doing coke and trying to fly a helicopter.
That sounds
Probably
right.
Doesn't mix well.
Another thing that I kept reading in when I was looking, because there was like some articles in the New York Times about rich people, whatever, and they're all like dirt bikes. It's always, I need a motorcycle because I can weave in and out of traffic. Yes and no. Here's the thing. You're not carrying anything on a motorcycle. You can't carry your weapons well on a motor. Yeah, I can have a handgun in my pocket. I might even be able to have an AR on my back on a sling or some kind of scabbard. You have the Harley guys with the whatever.
But, all right.
But
also, you have to know how to ride a motorcycle.
And you're a target.
Yeah, you're not weaving in and out of traffic if you just have a motorcycle in your garage that you've ridden up the block once.
Is it cool to have as like a little backup thing? Yeah. To send somebody out to scout and kind of check things out? Yeah, might be kind of cool. But your end all, and hey, we set you up with a compound out in Montana or something.
Right, you're not getting
I want four-wheelers.
Yeah.
I want stuff like that. But it's not your go-to vehicle to get out of L.A.
Yeah, you're not leaving San Francisco and getting to Montana or Washington.
You're not getting out of L.A. and even making it up to the Northern California mountains. It's not going to happen on a motorcycle. You might be able to weave in and out of traffic. I'm with you on that part. But you're not getting shot or beat by an angry mob. I'm not so with you on that part. So, not really the go-to. Now, whenever I read these books on the apocalypse and the end of the world, and always the end all, the thing that kind of finishes all the battles is when they show up with the tactical. And what I mean by that is the 50 cal mounted in the back of a pickup.
Right.
It always happens.
That doesn't
in every
cost
book,
much. Right.
They
you
freaking
can
show
spend $5,000 in the apocalypse. Hell, you could probably get that stuff together in a weekend.
And these people freaking just show up, and when somebody's shooting a 50 cal at your little gated house or whatever, those walls are coming down.
Yeah.
If they got enough ammo, they're cutting through some serious shit. So the problem is you got to find a way to defend against that. Well, one, when you tell me money's no object, I can say you can form a corporation and you can buy a machine gun.
That's right.
We're talking about setting up the licensing and owning the gun, less than a $20,000 investment.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, if we were to maybe set up some kind of little turret kind of position, maybe some steel plates around it, a little opening, and have it discreet looking as a corner of your house or whatever. I'm just saying, having a mounted 50 might be kind of cool.
Right.
And that might be the difference with your survival. Because when they come at you with the big siege, when the angry mob of 200 people who know you're out there, you got a mounted 50 cal and some kind of secure location to shoot from, it's not really a problem.
No.
You're like, oh, that angry mob, don't worry about it. I got this. You know?
And, a lot of that comes down to also security is knowing what's coming with enough time to get ready.
Yeah.
You know? I used to have a friend that was injured in a motorcycle accident, but he had a small fortune that he lived on. He lived in a big mansion out in the middle of nowhere. And, he had all these cool things.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was a heavy drug user. Like, hardcore drugs.
If you got money, I mean...
And he would sit out on his back porch with all his paraphernalia out. And mind you...
some of it was pain medication.
Yeah, some of it was legal. Some of it was not legal. It was all pain medication. But, questionable. Very questionable. And he had a young kid. And his kid would come home on the bus, and they'd drive all the way up his driveway. And so he had, sensors on the road so that a bell would ring when somebody was coming up the drive. If you can set that up quarter mile out from your house, then you've got 5 minutes at least, You've got a few minutes to get everything together and get in position and be ready before people start showing up.
Right. No, I think that's right. Now, actually, that brings me to, you're going to definitely, if you're taking survival seriously and you have unlimited funds, you're going to need to set up some kind of communication room, chamber, and when I say chamber, what I mean is you're going to need it to be EMP proof.
Right.
You know what?
And all around,
if you have an unlimited budget
yeah.
and you can leave antennas and things disconnected, you can set up an EMP room where
Right.
you can keep your radios, your extra cameras, all your stuff, and have it protected. Then when something bad happens, you break it out.
Right.
You have it set to go. You have your comms guy, your engineer or whatever knows how to use it and set it up. And you have it ready to roll out. When you can put cameras everywhere, and come on, honestly, unlimited budget, we got options for solar.
Right.
We got things to keep electricity going. And so we got the comms room. We have unlimited, radios. We got all your EMP stuff. We have thermal scopes, things like that, night vision. This stuff is a huge game changer at the end of the world. And
yeah, I mean, the United States military dominates the battlefield at nighttime
because of
those.
night vision.
Right. And those types of things are a huge advantage. The other thing, let's just talk about real quick, just setting up a solar farm to power your place.
Okay.
I want to go back to firearms, but just wanted to touch on this real quick. I was looking at setting up large solar panels.
Okay.
The average person uses about 10,766 kilowatt hours is the annual use for an average household.
Okay.
So thinking about it that way and the amount of people you need, you're looking at about basically $1 per kilowatt for your solar system, for your solar farm. And you can run about 5 buildings, 15, 20 people, full power, with about 1.5 acres of solar panels.
Okay.
So, I mean, that is something to keep in mind. You are going to have to power all this stuff. And if you have electricity when everybody else doesn't, that's a big that's a big win. If you're going to have the cameras and all that sort of stuff, you're going to need to power it up. But when it comes to the firearms, I was looking around for some ideas on this sort of thing. I came across this video on YouTube called "The Most Armed Man in America." Check this out.
Tell me more.
This guy's driving around in in basically an armored personnel carrier with 50 cals on the top, Gatling gun on the hood, and 250 cals mounted on where there's 150 cal mounted in the passenger seat, pointing out the front window.
I don't know why why don't we have that?
And he carries 2 Uzis in his glove box, fully loaded Uzis in his glove box everywhere he goes.
Smart.
I love this guy. And he gives a house tour on YouTube. It is amazing. It's amazing. And he's just as great as you think he would be.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's all legal. He owns it all legally.
Right.
So, automatic weapons, all sorts of great stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you get a chance, go on YouTube and check this guy out. He's a shit ton of fun.
Nice.
All right. Also, you'd want to have some sort of underground bunker-type location. If you have, your wife and kids there and a couple other people, there are going to be people that aren't going to be involved in the physical combat. You want to not have to worry about them,
Right.
Someplace they can go if something does happen, and they can get into a safe, more safe area than what you would already have prepared.
And that's the thing. If you're going to bury somebody in a coffin, if you will, then you need to make sure there's some kind of an escape tunnel.
Right.
You're going to have it so that it goes out to some secure location, possibly pops up in a building nearby. Mm-hmm. The building next door off-site, which also may have some backup supplies.
Right.
And something you're going to want to look very unassuming, Mm-hmm. Something that's not going to draw attention, and it's got to be secure.
Yeah.
But,
you're going to want to have someplace, like, we talked about safe rooms at one point. You're going to want to have something that's more or less you can ride out anything.
Yeah. No, I'm right with that. And that's the thing. And you're going to have to think about ventilation.
Right.
You're going to have to think about, backup oxygen supply, maybe some air filters. Mm-hmm. These things are all available to you.
Right.
Another thing when you're setting up the compound, so air filtration both in the underground shelter as well as the main house. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to have some kind of air filtration kind of system. You never know. We have, volcanoes, different things. A lot of things can, really affect the air quality. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good ways that you can do it. That you can kind of seal things up.
Right. And radiation would also have to be something you might have to worry about.
If you can make the air quality 20, 30% better, that might be the difference.
Right.
Maybe you have some gold, silver, that kind of stuff. Plan for a little barter stuff. But bottom line, you want to be prepared. You want to be
self-sufficient.
What you need, you don't want to have to barter or nothing. You're the guy who has the money.
Right. You're the guy that has all the shit.
So, I would expect nothing less than prepared. You also don't want to be the guy who's advertising. Mm-hmm. You don't want your house to look like the fortress, but there's a lot of great design ideas that you can do that'll make you prepared, but not necessarily a target. Mm-hmm. You're also going to want gas masks, maybe atropine, something like that. That was a big thing in the military with chemical warfare.
Yeah.
Basically.
Honestly, even a gas mask that's going to protect you from like a tear gas type of thing would be beneficial.
No, that's the thing. Like I was watching, there was this movie. Somehow I actually tricked the wife into watching it. I couldn't believe it. On Netflix called This Is How It Ends. Mm-hmm. And it's like a Netflix original movie.
Right.
And that was the thing. I mean, it
really
Whitaker? Wasn't clear. Yes, with Forrest Whitaker.
I saw that. Yep.
It wasn't clear really what it was or whatever, But that was the thing. It was kind of like volcano ash and different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy goes and grabs the nice gas mask out of, and that was the difference, you know, in being able to get around and function.
Right.
Another thing you want to do is everybody on your team should be consulting, I would assume, with your team doctor, but maybe with their own, you know, primary doctors, and talk to them about really what their worries are. You know, like in the third world countries, you know, oh, I'm going to go to, you know, all over South America or Africa. What shots do I need?
Right.
These, you know, there are extra shots that they give people who are going to be exposed to hard times. And you might want to get caught up on those.
Right.
You know, we talk tons, you know, you can go back to our medical episodes, anti-diarrhea, different things that you'd want to, you know, plan for, all the different antibiotics. There's a million ways you can prep up for that. We got episodes on that. But these are things you're going to need, you know, to do.
Yeah. And, you know, if you're competent doctor with books and a lab, you can synthesize a lot of drugs, basic stuff like penicillin and things like that.
Right.
You could actually make penicillin at home if you had a clean laboratory to do it. I looked it up online. I don't think I could make it. I think I'd kill myself if I tried to inject myself with what I'd come up with. But, you know, it is possible to make a lot of these things.
Right.
Now, if you're making Viagra, I don't know, maybe that's just worth stocking up on that if that's something you need. But, you know, when it comes to other
Each
things.
his own.
Yeah.
Another thing, you're definitely going to want a drilled well.
Right. You're going to want to have
on the compound,
a good water source.
So a drilled well, you don't want something that other stuff's coming into.
Right.
I mean, it can't be the creek. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, well, you know, the Hudson River, you know, runs into my backyard. That's not something you can count on.
Right.
Now, if you're in Flint, Michigan, and you're like, oh, no, you need your own well. There's also a lot of solar stills, things like that. There's different things you can look into, and really, you know, you're going to need backup water supplies.
Right.
Redundancy.
And with everything, you want redundancy.
And that's something you're really going to have to plan for.
Solar power is great, but, you know, if you don't have a power bank or you have a long stretch of time without any sun, you're going to want, you know, maybe wind power, maybe, you know, 100 other ideas, but maybe you need to come up with different options for everything.
Right. Now, another thing I looked into, well, actually, let's talk about guns. So we talked about the 50 cal. Basically, I think everybody should have uniform weapons. And by that, you know, I mean all the same. Right. You know, you decide everybody's going to have an AR-15 or everybody's going to have an AK-47.
Right.
Everybody's going to have, you know, you might have a sniper, and he might pick out whatever sniper rifle. And again, a second guy should be trained on that as well. This is going to, you know, require a night vision and thermal scope. And maybe if you don't want to interchange scopes throughout the day, then maybe you got another scope set up just for daytime use. Maybe the same scope works for both. It all really depends on what your preferences are.
Right.
Next thing, but again, these guns all have to be sighted in and kept in, you know, in good shape, where you're using them and you're making sure that they're working properly. You need to kind of have an armorer on your staff, on your payroll all year long. Now, maybe it's something he stops by once a month and goes through the collection. That might be enough. But it's got to be somebody who takes it seriously and knows the weapons.
I was watching something not too long ago, and they were storing weapons.
Okay.
And for, you know, long-term storage, 20 years or more. And what they had done was stacked them all up in 55-gallon drums and just filled them with oil.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to say fill a drum with oil, but I was going to say you lubricate the shit out of those. It should be, like, thick on those guns.
Right. And then you're going to have to clean it before you use it. But long-term storage-wise, it's not something you have to, you know, fire every day or clean every day.
But these people,
especially
I think,
if you have uniform weapons.
They always say when you put a gun away for storage, you're supposed to, like, heavy oil. And it's a plant thing. And then you should pull it out and clean it before you use it. You know, it's not And obviously when you have it in a 55-gallon drum of oil, but also when, you store your gun with heavy oil for, putting it away for the season or whatever, you want to clean it nice before you go out and use it again. Also, you don't know what critters are climbing in there or doing whatever. Another thing, everybody's going to need a sidearm.
Right. Something that they carry with them.
Like I said, uniformity. I mean, maybe they're, my preference now is the VP9 SK. Maybe 9's a little small for you. Maybe you want it to be a 45,
Yeah,
it's
but
open
if
carry,
you're also,
it's the end of the world.
If
Who
you're
knows?
also talking about uniformity, a
Not
45
same
is
size.
not everybody can handle a 45
Right.
handgun. So I mean, it's something to think about, at least keep in your mind.
So, I mean, that's, again, but you are going to have some sniper rifles. And like I said, and you guys kind of decide what's on that. Like I said, I kind of like the Ruger Precision right now. It's where you can buy $1,000 off the shelf, 1,000-yard gun.
Right.
That's kind of cool. That, that doesn't happen naturally too often. Another thing I thought might be cool to stockpile is like concentrated chlorine. You had some like 55-gallon drums of the chlorine. Maybe not a bad idea. That would go a long way and take you far on your water purification. Things like that. I mean, I see limited, uses there.
Yeah.
Water filters, that kind of stuff. But again, the drilled well is going to be huge. You got to think about a long-term water supply. Now, food storage, it really depends what you're planning for. But I got to tell you, you're talking, I mean, again, we're unlimited budget guy. Minimum 2 years for everybody in the compound. You don't want to be forced to be gardening and whatever. You want to be thinking about security and whatever. I got to tell you, the first year, if you don't have to devote your resources to growing food or catching food or that kind of thing, it's going to be night and day.
Yeah,
in your
that's
survival.
one of the reasons why when you mentioned Alaska,
Right.
I was kind of hesitant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hunting and fishing.
Yes.
But think about 2 years into the apocalypse, there's going to be a lot of hunting and fishing pretty much everywhere.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Year one,
not so much. But what I would say is you might want to have be in a climate where you're capable of doing farming, whether or not you're planning on actually doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And that was another thing I'd mention is you're going to want survival seed setups kind of thing. You're going to need all kind of seed banks and stuff like that.
Right.
And those, I got to tell you, can be bought so cheap that you should almost be replacing them every year. Just donate them to a local garden or whatever and be like, oh, we're going to resupply.
Just throw them in the trash.
Oh, that's hurtful. You're part of the problem. You're the reason that global
garbage.
warming is going to freaking happen.
Yeah. I don't
This is
recycle.
why we need to plan for the event.
I think it's unfair, though,
It's
that a
people
lot
like
of people
you.
in the world live in these cold areas. So even during the winter, I'll run my AC all year long. I'll just put it in my attic and
You
just
blow
run
it out.
Just
Or
run.
whatever.
Yeah. Heat this planet up, man. There are a lot of people suffering. Think about the people in Iceland. They want to go to the beach. They want to grow a plant.
I think it's Greenland that you're thinking
Greenland.
of.
Yeah,
Isn't it
But
backwards?
yeah, they'd like
Is
to
that
see
the
something
rule?
green at some point.
Right. But anyway, I mean, that's the gist of it. But there's a lot of different cool things and stuff. So another thing you guys might want to think about is armor, like body armor. Now, guys like presidential, the presidents of the United States a lot of times have bulletproof suits. That's something you can do. They make that. I was looking, there's a company, Bullet Blocker, makes a suit for $1,200, bulletproof.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, a good suit's $1,200 anyway. The problem is, it doesn't look like a good suit.
Okay.
Kind of looks like you went to Penny's. And the thing is, you can go to Penny's and get a suit, and if you have it tailored and done nice, it might be just right.
Yeah.
But if you don't, well,
Then it looks like this.
then it looks like this suit. That's
All
what
right.
I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, that's not really going to work for me. I did see a nice suit vest for $329.
329?
Yeah, $329.
Ooh.
That's level 3A, so you're stopping a bullet. And that's the thing, like I've been looking at like armor plate and tactical vests and all that. And when I started looking at these, they're like, oh, level 3A vest, and they're like nice soft, and they're like, oh, you can wear it under your suit. And I'm like, that's looking pretty
I think
comfortable.
I might get that. I don't wear suits very often, but when I do, man,
so
I'd like to be able to survive a bullet.
Right. Now, there is a company, Aspeto, and they make a slicker looking suit. And they actually even had a tuxedo option. Some kind of like tails kind of coat tuxedo or a regular suit. Now, again, these kind of look like you're wearing like a $500 suit. You're not looking like you're wearing a $2,000 suit.
Right.
But maybe, but you're not looking like you walked out of Pennies, And they were in the neighborhood of $5,000. So, I mean, there's different options for you. Now, the next thing we could talk about is armored vehicles.
Yeah.
Now, you told me you came across...
I'm very excited about one. I've been doing a little shopping.
All right.
I think I found what my billionaire choice would be.
All right.
Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG. It's a 5.5 liter V8 reinforced suspension, multi-layer bullet-resistant glass. It's basically compressed aluminum is what the glass is made out of.
Nice.
Run flat tires, battery and electronic control module protection, so you're not going to have your system shot up. You're not going to have your engine shot out. It's a BR6 armor level, which means assault rifle proof, hand grenade proof. It's got a fire suppression system in the cab so that if a fire does break out, you don't have to get out of your vehicle.
I like it.
Lightweight. They have a lightweight armor package. It has an amazing sound system. Now, it's a Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG. Now, you might think Mercedes-Benz. It's going to be a gorgeous-looking vehicle.
Not so pretty?
Not so pretty. And it runs about $975,000.
Because we could rig up a nice Humvee for...
You could probably get away with a little bit cheaper than that, but you're not driving in a Mercedes-Benz.
It's not
then.
a Mercedes-Benz.
You don't have comfort.
Comfort, luxury. Listen to your Kid Rock.
Yeah. I've driven in...
Now, I've listened to a Kid Rock in the Humvee.
Yeah.
But
And
it
some
probably didn't
Humvees
sound
do
the
have
same.
decent...
It probably doesn't sound the same as a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, no. And most Hummers that I've been in, at least military-issue ones, not so comfortable.
No.
Not something you want to sit in for hours.
All right.
You know, if you're driving from San Francisco to Colorado, that's not the way you want to travel.
All right. So really, we want to do a little planning. Now, I've been working with, you guys have heard me mention Kilo 23 group there.
Yeah.
And we've got some deals in the works, some future business plans, things that may or may not involve survival type things. Big plans.
All right.
But I think this is actually a service that we may want to offer together is concierge, planning for the rich and powerful.
That sounds like a
I think
lot
for
of fun, honestly.
I think there's some different levels. Like what I was thinking is $20,000. I'll come out for 2 days,
All right.
and I'll walk around. I'll talk to you. I'll point out some things. Tell you what you can do. Now, for a week, for $50,000, I'll come out and I'll kind of get you in the right direction. Lists, get you in touch with the right people, get you all set up. But for $75,000, now this is our premium package.
Ooh, a premium package.
Premium package, 1 month. We're going to stay in the area.
This is for the platinum member.
For 1 month, and we're going to help you set up your team.
I love it.
We're going to take them through the training. We're going to kind of get those orders, get them worked out, get your items delivered, maybe work on some little construction modifications. No, obviously, you're paying for all these things that you get,
Right.
but we'll orchestrate it and we'll, help you figure out the right thing. So we're going to get together, Kilo 23 group. We're going to put together a little package. So if you're looking for concierge.
All right. You can get the best.
You want the best. I mean, who really, I told the wife, she was like, well, who would call you? That's ridiculous. And I said, wait, who knows more about survival and prepping than me and Kevin?
There's probably very
hands
few
down.
people on the planet.
I mean, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
We're masters in the business. Now, we're not talking about, oh, I'm going to teach you hand-to-hand combat. No, I didn't say I was the best guy for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about getting prepared, putting in the systems, doing, we're more like the brains behind the operation.
Ah, right.
We're going to get the system set up to make sure that you guys can actually have a functioning system. We'll put in the details, the finesse, if you will. So we'll put our contact info in the show notes. Basically, you're going to want to email us, shoot us an email, and we'll get in touch with you. So if you're looking for a little concierge, how to set up your prepping survival world, we got your back.
All right. You can email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. You can also email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com if you're not a crazy person and just looking for some advice or to chat.
Who's going to give us $50,000 if you just call them a crazy person? This is where it all falls
Only
apart.
a crazy person would give you $50,000. Just putting it out there.
All right. That's on the table. But I'm just saying, we're here for you. Shoot us an email. Seriously, I'll come out. Kevin, I might tell him to keep his mouth shut and just be nice.
Yeah, I'm not really good at that sort of stuff, so I don't know. If you want somebody nice, man, call Chuck.
Call Chuck.
Leave me out of it.
Put attention, Chuck, and I'll keep the $50,000. He can take his negativity somewhere else.
That's right.
And maybe you're just enjoying the podcast. Now, a lot of you guys out there listening, you want to maybe find some way you can contribute a little bit, keep things on the air. You want to go to patreon.com/preppingbadass. Now, here's what's cool. If you donate just $1 a month, we'll shoot you a cool Prepping Badass patch, get it out to you. Now, some of you are like, well, I signed up like 2 weeks ago and I haven't got my patch yet. I'm working on it. I got to get to the post office. What do you want from me? But, it's coming. So we're working on that. If it's been like over a month and you haven't gotten your patch, you may want to shoot me an email and say, hey, dude, really? And maybe we'll be able to do something. But there's that.
Now, a lot of you guys, just as a heads up, what I've noticed is a lot of the guys in the that do the Patreon,
yes,
they don't have their actual mailing address listed there. So, I don't fault you for that because you don't necessarily
so they're putting
want
in a fake address.
Some people have done that, and I'm not even opposed to that. I think that's probably a good idea.
But here's what you do. Give us your sister's address or something like that.
Well, what I'm saying is email us and send us an actual mailing address where you want to get the patch.
Because you're going to trust your Gmail account, but you don't trust Patreon.
Well, all right. Email us your sister's address,
all right,
and we'll get it out to you.
All right. So, we're willing to work with you. But, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
also,
fuck your sister, right?
You're an idiot.
They're going to raid her house. Fuck her up.
Yeah, right. There you go. Also, Tac Pack, we did mention we'd be giving away a handguard. And I actually did get it installed on my rifle.
Yeah, how's it
I was able to do that all by myself. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. There's a little cursing. It did take me, now mind you, it's the first time I've ever taken a barrel off a gun.
Right.
Like I'll change the upper, but doing just the barrel and the handguard, it's a little technical. Yeah. There's vices involved, torque wrenches.
Was there any blood?
Gas tube, no blood.
All right, then I think it's
there was cursing. Right. I was beating it with a hammer a little bit.
I don't think that's something.
And they were like,
beat with a hammer.
If you grab the gas tube with pliers and are smashing on it, you may want to consider replacing it. The cool thing with Tac Pack, they sent me a new gas tube.
All right,
because they knew.
They
were like, you're probably gonna try to do this yourself. It said, go to a professional armorer. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. You get out of here.
Yeah, it's like when you get a piece of furniture from IKEA. I don't need these fucking directions.
Get
I
out
know
of
what
here.
it's supposed to look like.
So, Tac Pack, pretty cool. Also, and if you realize if you subscribe to Tac Pack, you'd be getting this cool shit every month. No, actually, now our producer Ethan gets all the email forwarded to his house, and now he freaking lives in Maine.
Well, that's not
So
going
the
to work
cool
out.
shit went to Maine, and he sends me pictures. Here's your cool shit that came now.
What a dick.
So supposedly there's some badass knives coming.
And you're not
Either
going to
me
get
and
a
Kevin
picture
are
of
going to
them.
keep them, or maybe we'll give one away. I don't know. But what I can tell you is the handguard for your AR-15 we are going to give away.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get in on that, you may want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to pick the person who wins from that list. But also, you may want to mention that you're like an AR-15 guy, because I don't want to give it to somebody who's
Right, who's
not.
just going to have it
and be
sitting
like,
on a
yeah,
shelf
look
somewhere.
at this cool Tac Pack thing for an AR-15. Because I don't want it to be like, well, I accidentally subscribed to your YouTube channel, and now I have this, and you're the winner. I want it to be
and
like AR-15
And if you
guy.
are the winner and you don't have an AR-15,
then maybe I'll send you a cool knife.
Yeah, we'll get you something good.
All right? So subscribe to the channel. We'll get you something good. And if you are the AR-15, this thing's pretty badass. So I've been waiting to do some work, and it turns out it's hard to put pictures and write things and put it on the internet, like in Facebook. And
Yeah, it's super boring, too.
It's not fun. And I have the pictures in my phone. I posted a quick pic, but I don't have like a before and after and stuff together. I'm working on that. And we still haven't done a YouTube video about it. We got to do it with the both of us. So we're working on that. So anyway, do all those things. Also, you may want to subscribe on iTunes to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast. You don't want to miss an episode. And even cooler if you go and leave a review. That's how people find us, with new reviews and different things. Might be something cool.
Yeah, definitely the reviews are a big help.
So,
Yep.
with all that, I think we can wrap this up. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.